I'd like to tell you about Rebalance Diabetes. Rebalance Diabetes was launched originally in January of 2014, but an awful lot of work had led up to that. It actually started its life back in 2003, just as a weight loss program. I started to develop ways for people to be able to lose weight in the healthiest way possible. And the healthy thing was really key to me, as I will explain to you in one of the lectures coming along soon. It was the case that for several years I'd been working with groups of people, helping them to lose weight, as I say, in the healthiest way possible. And as you can imagine, just because diabetes is so prevalent in society today, several of the people that come through the programme in that time were diabetics, some type 1, some type 2. And my focus hadn't been about blood sugar control at all. It was all about the weight loss. I remember back in March 2013, a GP turned up in my clinic one day, unannounced. He hadn't made an appointment. And he asked to speak to me. I did. I dropped what I was doing. I went and spoke to the GP. And he said, "Are you the woman doing this weight loss thing?" And instantly I thought, oh no, he's turned up unannounced. But actually what he said to me was a real revelation. He said, did I realise that the results that I'd been getting with people with diabetes were unprecedented, and that actually the results that they were getting, not just in terms of their weight loss, but in terms of their blood sugar, cholesterol, blood pressure and other health indicators were really impressive. And of course I didn't know that, because that hadn't been my focus. And round about the same time, Simon Gilbert, he was a guy with type 1 diabetes. He'd come along just for weight loss, but he'd turned up to one of the group sessions that I was running for just the weight loss program. And he said one day, "Elaine, I've actually stopped using my fast-acting insulin." And I was a little bit blinkered, and it was kind of, oh, that's really interesting, Simon, but didn't think anything more of it until he went off to his next appointment with his diabetes specialist. And this was a guy who told him that he was only the second person in his entire career that he'd known to be able to get off fast-acting insulin in the way that he had. So that was one other little sort of note to bear in mind. But also there was John Charters-Reid. John was type 2. His bloods were completely out of control. He couldn't get his bloods anywhere below 17, 18, 19 on the scale. And after working with me for a few weeks, his bloods were right down in normal ranges. 5.8 to 7 were typical for him. So I put those three things together. They say good things come in threes. And I put those three things together and thought, okay, well, maybe there is something to offer here to people with diabetes. And from that point, I did some research. I had a story published in my local paper, and the phone really started to ring. So I knew then that there were an awful lot of people needing help, people like you. And we ran some pilot schemes, and the results were phenomenal. We had people again with type 1 and type 2, people like Simon Crack, people like Hayley, and people like John Rendell, who were achieving phenomenal results and continue to this day, even though it's way over 18 months since they undertook the programme. They're still improving in terms of their HbA1c and their weight and their overall health indicators. And that's what I want for you. So Rebalance Diabetes was born. It was reframed to speak to people with diabetes, people at risk of diabetes. And it's everything to do with you that this programme has come about. And I really hope that you enjoy it as we go through the seminar.